like, maybe. Yeah, that'll probably do it. Too many fucking pieces of shit here. Don't even go to the fucking lockdown, bro. I'm trying to not get rid of, but to, well, get rid of some basketball cards and football cards, because then people go, we can't come and collect them. You can collect them out the front. I'll leave them out the front for you, you can come past. So I'm going to message people and say, if you want to come past, just drive past, grab it and go. I know it's not essential, but the whole thing is that if this keeps people out of going crazy, more for it than you know what I mean? So we're going to do, obviously, Korea, but I want to, while we're doing this, I want to do more collating of catalogues that I've got to deliver, because I'm a fucking shithole at the moment, but I have to have them delivered by tonight. Even though I got all the shit late. So maybe I'll just do this one then. I can always do something. I've got plenty of time. It's only 5 o'clock in the morning. So, for everybody else's things, I sold my car. So, basically, went out on a limb and I bought one of my daughters a PlayStation 4. So she can play Fortnite and she doesn't have to share. Jessica doesn't have to share James's PlayStation. Does that make sense? So, that'll do. Cause the thing is, I can't sit there and do it. I have to stand because it's too big an amount of crap to worry about. Alright, so we've got the old NFL footy there, which I can pump up later. Not Super Bowl. The NFL season starts in September, and I think we're so close in finishing the NBA season. I think it's like today, maybe. But yeah. Do I sit down now? Got my drink. Haven't got anything to eat yet, but I'm not that hungry yet. I actually feel a bit sick, so I think it's because I've been drinking soft drink already, which is not good. I shouldn't be doing that. Still can't fucking see. I'm going to go the wrong way. Am I going the wrong way? Let's go this way. No, it's got to go this way. So why the fuck? Oh, hang on, maybe the camera's moved. I think it's nice to comfortable, relax, jump in a party. How's that? That's some NBA 2K. There we go. Fuck, it's cold on the seat. And I've got 2 heaters going. Get my blankie out. Whoops. And Paddy's been messaging me. Let's find out what he wants. He said he can't sleep. I'm like, just go to sleep, dude. But I can't sleep either. I'm in, what is it? Fucking night shift mode. This is Doncic's. Yeah, this is Doncic's. I don't know. I'll just take a guess on that one because I don't fucking know. That's not right. I knew that one would be right. It's really cool how they do that. It's fucking amazing, that fucking technology, chat. Like, I would just absolutely fucking dream to have that sort of shit in my production. Valentine's Day! Hang on a sec, chat. my daughter up? She might be up. I want to ring her. I don't know how long Bruce is going to stream for, guys. He's going to stream the whole of Today Show. He'd probably get fucking banned for copyright, but it is. My thing would be saying it is basically letting people know what it's all about. You know what I mean? But fuck, I love this setup. How I've got the setup now. Okay, and Lava Lamp is fucking sick. Like, I was watching it last night and it was freaking me out. And it hadn't even had any fucking smoke. What's it gonna be like when I have some smoke? Oh man, you don't even laugh. I'm in such a happy mood and I've had things go my way for once. Like with the sale of the car. Okay, probably shouldn't have spent the money until I know that the fucking car's going to be okay. But again, they've come in here. We haven't done the rego, and I said to him, I said, just let me know about what you want to do with the rego. I should have taken a number down, but I did send them mine. But because I don't think we can actually go into Service SA and change it, so I'll just say after 7 days, as long as you don't get fines and that, I don't care. You know, they might want to run through a whole week of fucking speed cameras and shit. And have this Matt Hampton driving around like a lunatic. I wonder if she's up. Because I want to ring her in my phone too. It says she's asleep. Oh, hang on, that's what I was going to say. Did she... Ah, she did open it, so I don't know. And I got my dad's car, and the other thing is that there's some money coming to me from Foxtel, so I've already paid some of that off that I owe Foxtel, so I can get Foxtel put in. So I don't know if I should spend it on other stuff or pay the bill. What do you reckon, chap? Probably pay the bill, eh? And then I can get Foxtel connected almost straight away. And then we can watch the NBA Finals. We can do the sounds of the NBA Finals. And I bought a new TV as well. Just because I'm going to give my dad my old TV, because he really likes this TV. He thinks it's cool. And you know what? His TV's on the blink. It takes fucking 10 minutes to load. And I'm going to ring him today and said, I've got a surprise for you. Mum will go, what do you mean? I said, well, the TV here, when you come down, pick up the car or whatever you want to do, the TV is here to, you can take the TV and I'll have my TV. It's just I've got to then unbox my TV. Send a message to who to stand out. Who am I sending a message to? What I should do is look for jobs for deep cleaning, because that's a big thing at the moment. No one wants to do it, but I'll do it. I don't give a shit. It's fucking danger money, but I've had a COVID shot. So maybe I could go... let's go... thinking about it the other day, but you know, because can't get any chicken work at the moment, but deep cleaning is essential. You know what? I'm going to go for a paramedic's job. I don't know what the deal is there, that what you've got to have, but it could be a volunteer. So. Bobo. I don't want to work from. How can I work from home if I'm cleaning you? Fucking stupid. Look, the lag on this is bullshit. Why is it giving you a minute again? Can't find anything that's clean this. Spelling errors. Why is it not working properly? Change and remove. Just went back to one. I'm finding. Oh, that's. Maybe I need to take out the clean. How can that not be showing? Maybe go to Indeed, because I've got an account there.
Making substitutions here. Greg, who are your favorite players to watch in the NBA? That's a tough one. You know, you gotta like guys that change the games. These are guys that I love, and then the other guy, listen, LeBron James, I could watch him play basketball every day. You know, to do what he's done at this stage of his career, I
it's gone into Bruce's stream's gone into rest period. I'll have to get up and have a look to see what's happening with it because technically it's running off of. It's not running off of my stream. It's running off of his, but I've got it set up on mine to listen to it. So yeah, applying for jobs too, which is funny. I just want to look up something on the computer, which is fine, or we can do that. But it's all right too. How many please? Yes, at least one, because we do the other stuff. Do you have the foreign license? Was it? Sort of, yes. Do you have a driver's license? Yes. Describes you work. Which following describes you working permitted to work permanently, no restrictions or hours? Probably get this job in. Do I have to fill this out? Cleaner. Yes. Just look there. I'm not doing a cover letter. This is a cover letter's optional. I don't understand why they give you a choice to give you a cover letter. Do you know what I mean? Please review your application. Blah 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 blah. It's got a test result. I hate these tests, and why do we have to do them for? Why can't they just give me an interview, right? And go from there. Stupid. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's just gone into sleep. Where is this? Fucking freezing now. I can't believe how cold it is. Can't wait to get my fucking. I bought a what's it called? A fire pit. Can't wait to fucking start out. I've gone. There's a tree out the back that I'll cut down because it's fucking dead. Except all I have to do is push it and it'll fall over.
He performs really well. You can see his role expanding if he continues to make that kind of impact, Kevin.
All right, David. Great. We'll see you tonight.
I was meant to shoot it. Pass it, doesn't it?
blew it up. He started closer. And again at Oklahoma City, no good. The Nuggets on offense. They're on a 13-3 run. Porter finds Hurt. Now, here's Hampton. Guarded by Horford. Hampton passes to Tate. Here's Hampton. 6 to shoot. And here's Porter. And the foul is gone. The intentional three to there for some reason.
Stop the break.
That's a stretch, though. Definitely a strange move on his part. And they're making a switch here. Reeves checked in. Gildas Alexander checked in from Oklahoma City. Pass to Basil. Oklahoma City moving it around. And Torres takes it to go. This is an example of the court awareness we'll talk about with Al. This guy is very willing. He kicks the big loop. Onto the right wing. Here's the pitch. Yep, now he goes in. Jokic has got 4 points in the quarter. And this has been a great job of just getting into the middle of that defense and really scoring effectively from the paint. Here's Gilmore. He had 19 points in the win against New Orleans. Passes it to Horford. Here's George. 6 on the shot clock. It's hooked by Hampton. To the left wing. Here's Tate. That's it. Here's his for Rookish.
Come on, got an F. How can I have an F when I'm, you know why? Because I'm unhappy. That's why. I'm disgusted, I think my thing says. I'm disgusted in what? We're fucking smacking OKC. They're a bitch. And have been for fucking a year. Oh! Help is here, and help will be on its way if it's needed. Fucking hope, you better pay us some money, bro. I'm not getting any money coming in now, so apart from my pension, but again, once I say how many hours I worked, which is due this week, I might not get that.
Denver's going 2 of 4 from 3-point range. Here's Morris. Nothing else will work for him. Pass to Hampton. And he makes that one. Big miscommunication on defense. And that's 2.
Can't wait for the Olympics. So glad that we're in lockdown to watch it. Because then I don't have to go to work and I can stay up late and watch it. We can do sounds of the Olympics, which we will do.
Here's one. Still looking for his first bucket in this one.
Oh my god.
Ground to a standstill. Set the tape.
Okay, take a break.
Bringing over some players to control their free agent destiny. Players that have made real or then switching teams. Man, I know something. I don't know if we get a but you're gonna catch the wrath of the fan base. You think they're Paul George?
Fucking almost fall asleep, chat. To the set and fucking hit the wall. I'm just gonna have a shower and wake myself up. Bobo, shoot the ball, Bobo. Fucking meant to hit them, Bobo. Your dad would have.
Williams against Harris. To the paint. Williams passes to Gilmore. From downtown, hits a three-pointer fall. Gilmore's got 11 points in just the second half.
He'll take that all day, every day. Shot fires on that wide open.
Passes Davis. We've got 1:20 left in the fourth quarter. Nicholas against the zone. Davis wide open. He shoots. And they lose it. No time for those 2 points now. That's obvious. Just don't lose. And this was one that never really wasn't that. I thought all around. Once we got thought that maybe it was the game. Yeah, there was a sense. They just proved to do it. These two teams with one another before the season's over. And what a tremendous standout performance it was for Jokic.
Well, I think you can think about any area of this basketball game and feel like he's excelled in it. He was a dominant figure at both ends of the floor and finishes with a triple-double. What an unbelievable performance.
That's good for Harris. 58 seconds left in the game. Here's the pass to Robertson. A 15-footer. And it's still broken from behind.
Well, you see the interesting here. All three handled that kind of missed opportunity well.
Pass to Ball. That's the feed to Harris. He kicks the ball from 20 feet out. That's good on the chip shot. So easy to pass away. Just not time there.
And playing with great energy and great effort. And as a coach, you love to see this from your team every single night.
Williams, Prince wide open. That cross, and it comes off an assist from Williams.
Well, just tremendous instincts from Prince. Feeling the defense, getting loose, getting into his catch-and-shoot game. Nicely done.
Hampton passes to Hampton. Here's Najee. Now Hampton to defend Prince.
Hobo!
So it's the sneeze. There's a tickle of TT's tongue. Almost an inefficient franchise today. I mean, the energy here is just so tremendous. It's all from the get-go. And once they started to really scoring on, fun to see that flow from every factor. For Greg Anthony and Bruce Broken and all, this is phenomenal. When they're through demonstrating such great, thanking you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Nicholas. Oh, shit. She's fucking what fucking me?
With Shelby Power, the premium fuel designed to clean and protect your car's engine. Look for Shelby Power the next time you fill up your
Shelby
car.
Power.
Today's Entertainment Report, brought to you by Stan's brand new series, Dr. Death, now streaming only on Stan.
You are watching today. Thanks for your company. Australia is waking up in uncharted territory this morning. 3 states in lockdown, 13.5 million people facing stay-at-home orders, construction sites empty, tradies out of work, and the virulent Delta strain spreading like wildfire with a worrying leap in admissions to ICU. It's bleak. For more, we're joined by Stellar Magazine's Sarah Lamarquand. Sarah, good morning to you. Look, it is bleak. No other way about it.
I wish I could find another word than that, Carl, but I'm afraid I'm failed. It really is a bleak morning, and it's a bleak week.
You know, over the last couple of days, it just seems to have got worse and worse, and the lockdowns that have proceeded in different states. I'm not sure where we go over the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure how we see the positive. It's going to be hard.
As you said, Carl, 13.5 million people at stay-at-home orders. It really does feel like unprecedented times. Obviously, there was a national lockdown last year, and we've seen pockets of the country, especially, of course, Melbourne, really impacted in a terrible way over the last 18 months. But I think what's happened over the last few weeks, and it's really come to a culmination this week, is obviously the reality of the mutant Delta strain settling home. That shutting down Sydney and then Melbourne, and as you say now, South Australia. So that really reinforcing us and bringing us back to the worst of the days of collective lockdown last year. But I think also, Carl, what it's really put the national spotlight on is our terrible vaccination rates. And I know that you talk about it a lot on the show. We're all very focused on it in the media. But we are seeing in the Northern Hemisphere, we've all seen in Britain, they're celebrating Freedom Day. We're seeing other parts of the world getting back to life as normal. And here in Australia, it feels like it's never been worse.
That does need to be tempered a little. There's some worrying signs coming out of Britain. 70% of adults, you rightly point out, have been vaccinated. They've now got 50,000 cases a day still. In the last 24 hours, 96 deaths. This is with the vaccinations high. I mean, we are a long way from being out of this if we take Great Britain as a lead.
Well, I think that's an interesting conversation because I do think a lot of people have looked at that jubilation and thought, is that a little bit premature? And are they having that typical party reaction, if you like, to the reaction of what they've been through the last 18 months and overcompensating? And I think what we will see that being measured, and there'll be a little bit more reasoning and sensible behaviour kicking in over the coming days. But I think where they are, Carl, where we're not at, is that they are learning to live with the virus. And they are now at the point where they are trying to balance, if you like, what life looks like living with this virus being part of our lives, but also managing to have freedom.
Yeah, it's a hell of a gamble, though, and they may have got it wrong. I mean, we've seen Singapore. Singapore came out and they wanted to be free, and they've gone about that. Now they're going back into lockdown. Great Britain, let's see how it goes in the next couple of weeks, but they may end up back into lockdown. I think we've got to be honest here. What state politician, even when we are vaccinated, is going to risk those numbers increasing at the way they're increasing and risk their own people dying in hospitals?
Well, we know that it's not going to be the Victorian Premier. He's obviously been the most quick to move to a lockdown.
Yeah.
We know that we've seen this massive turnaround in policy of how she's approached it from the New South Wales Premier. So you're right, that the Premiers have become a lot more cautious. And for them, I suppose they're not ultimately responsible for the welfare of the country as a whole. They are accountable to their state constituents.
Yeah.
And as we've already talked about, you know, where's the Prime Minister? What role is the federal government playing in this? It does feel a bit passive. So it doesn't feel like anyone's really leading the national policy and looking forward to the country's way out of this. But at some point, we're going to have to stop to be driven by the self-interest of the states and the state premiers. And I'm not talking about right now. I'm, like all law-abiding citizens, I support my Premier in the lockdown, and I think it's really important that all of us do our part. But we're not going to survive as a country. The economy will not recover if we don't start doing what the Northern Hemisphere has done.
What I'm saying, though, is what politician, or what Premier, what leader of the country is going to open things up when we see what we're seeing in Great Britain. Matt Canavan joins us now from Queensland. And Matt, you've been a proponent of no more lockdowns. Do you still support that?
Yeah, I do, Carl, because we can see what's happening overseas. We're going to have to live with COVID. We're going to have to do that. And with almost all their aged care residents vaccinated, with lots of older people vaccinated, when are we going to do this? Because if we're going to lock down now, we're going to keep locking down in the future when we're all vaccinated and we still have COVID spreading like there is in the UK. There's enormous costs being done here, small businesses, to people's marriages, to kids' education. Now, I'm just worried we're not measuring those costs and factoring in those.
So what my question to you is, how many cases, 50,000 cases in the UK a day, 100 deaths on average, How many of those are you prepared to live with as a politician to get on with life?
Well, I'm not going to be able to put a number on it, Carl. I prefer, of course, to have no deaths. That's what I prefer to have. But there are two certainties in life, death and taxes, of course. And we're going to have to deal with those. And the key thing is to reduce those to as low a level as possible. A key part of that is getting the vaccination rolled out, but that's not a panacea. It's not going to completely remove this issue. And then, of course, if we do lock down, when we lock down, and we are locking down, there are people who go through the worst circumstances in that environment too. There's no option here that doesn't lead to bad outcomes for people.
Obviously, there's talk until we are vaccinated, and it's pretty much your own fault the vaccination hasn't rolled out faster, Matt. I'm not blaming you individually. I'm not blaming you individually.
I think there's a whole lot of factors there, but look, we're just going to fix it now and get it rolled out as quickly as we can. 1 million fires have turned up this week.
Yeah.
Got 400 million coming this month. That's a great thing. But yeah, of course, we prefer not to have people.
Look, given that there's talk of JobKeeper 3.0, are you open to that idea this morning?
I think it has to be a radically different program. We've got to keep increasing assistance as businesses go through these tough times. As I say, I prefer not to have the lockdowns, and if we've got them, we've got to be there to help. We can't have exactly the same program though, because that went to a whole lot of businesses at a rush time.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd want to do it just on turnover, because turnover drops for a whole lot of range of reasons. But look, we've always been, as a government, willing to offer tailored support to people when it's needed, and I'm sure that will continue.
Good on you, Matt, and thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it. It's 7 o'clock here on Today. Here are the top stories.
Sydney's outbreak spreads. Regional New South Wales plunged into lockdown as mystery cases climb and testing times blow out. Fears the pain won't end for months.
Stay at home. Melbourne's restrictions extended for another week. The risk far from over as borders go up. The Premier flags greater freedoms, but only for vaccinated Victorians.
Delta strikes Adelaide. South Australia plunged into a snap 7-day lockdown. How the new rules affect you, plus a COVID scare for Queensland.
Happening today, the games go to Brizzy. A decision on the 2032 Olympics just hours away as a postponed Tokyo finally gets underway, where they're live.
Plus, Greg Norman's homecoming, why the great white shark is returning to Australia. He's live and only on Today.
And mission accomplished.
Go, Jeff!
Jeff Bezos and that rock blasts off. The billionaire's history-making journey to the edge of the universe. Today, Wednesday, the 21st of July, 2021.
You heard it. Go, Jeff! Ready to space. That's fair, isn't it?
Very good timing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
It wasn't
Ellie.
me, by the way.
Wasn't it?
That wasn't
Sounds like
me.
you.
Well, more than half of Australia's population, as we know this morning, is in lockdown as the Delta variant spreads across New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia. 1,418 COVID cases have been recorded since the Bondi cluster burst. 78 new cases recorded in the past 24 hours. Sydney's southwest is still the greatest area of concern, the virus now seeping into the central west, with stay-at-home orders also in place for Orange, Blaney and Carbon for at least the next 7 days.
There's no end in sight to Victoria's lockdown with 94 active cases across the state, while in South Australia, residents are also in lockdown with 5 new cases being recorded.
Our reporters are on the ground with the latest. Let's go first to today's Sydney reporter, Gabrielle Boyle, who's at a testing clinic in Fairfield. Gabby, there's fears Sydney's lockdown could go on even longer.
Yeah, look, Ali, the numbers really aren't strong, are they? 78 cases fresh just in the past 24 hours, and 21 of those were active in our community. This has led medical experts to speculate that our lockdown could drag out until September. Awful to think about, really, isn't it? Other medical experts say we need to start thinking long and hard about our exit strategy, how we're going to cope with COVID once we come out of this lockdown here in New South Wales.
We're going to have to look at being clever and getting ahead of the curve, and we just can't continue to play lockdown lotto. We've just got to really try and be very smart about how we come out of lockdown.
And we've seen a snap 7-day lockdown put in place for parts of our central west. Orange, the Blaney Shire and Cabone all in a 7-day lockdown after a COVID case was detected out there. It's also worth noting that hospitalisation levels are up and mystery cases are up, 2 areas very alarming for the New South Wales community, particularly here in Western Sydney. Ali?
Okay, thanks, Gabby.
Victorians will spend at least another week in lockdown as authorities work to eradicate Delta cases in the community. Today, Melbourne reporter Isabella Stachkowski is at the Albert Park testing site again for us this morning. Is it? What's it looking like there this morning?
Carl, it's surprisingly quiet. We'll just show you around. You can see there's one car coming in right now, and there's been a slow trickle since we've been here, but maybe only 15 to 20 cars here, which is quite surprising. Nothing like what we've seen in previous days. Staff just last week told us it was the busiest they had ever seen it, and now it looks pretty deserted, not like what we're seeing in South Australia either. There are more than 350 exposure sites as well, so thousands of people will need to get tested. So that is why this is quite a surprising sight to see. Tighter border restrictions as well. We now have a hard border with New South Wales, and South Australia will become a red zone as of 11:59 tonight. This all as the Premier flags that people with vaccination could have greater freedoms here in Victoria for things like sport events, music events, and even the theatre. Carl?
Is it? Thank you.
South Australians are starting their first morning in lockdown, with hundreds already heading out to get tested. Nine's Oliver Hay joins us at a testing site in Adelaide. Ollie, good morning. It's another long wait, a very long wait, I should say, in the queue.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Alex. Good morning. With the 7-day lockdown now in effect, a lot of people are coming down to get tested here at the 24-hour Victoria Park clinic. Now, the start of the queue begins behind me, and just to give you an idea of how long it stretches, it loops all the way around me, then goes down Fullerton Road, and then about a kilometre down Green Hill Road. The people we've spoken with at the front of the line have now been waiting in excess of 9 hours with no sleep, and it's safe to say they're not overly impressed.
A couple of bad spots sort of over there where it's just no movement for a good half an hour and trying to stay awake. I've been awake 24 hours.
9 hours plus, yeah. Yeah, waiting for a test.
Now, there are just 5 reasons to leave your home, which should be on screen now. There's also around 40 exposure sites across the city, with a further 6 that were added overnight. We do have 5 cases that have been linked to the Modbury cluster, but we are expecting an update from our Chief Health Officer in the next hour, so we'll bring you those details live. Alex?
24 hours without sleep, Ollie. Thank you.
It's rough, isn't it? Well, COVID fears are mounting now in Queensland, where a new local case has been active in the community while infectious. Today's Reese D'Alessandro joins us now from Brisbane. Reese, the Sunshine Coast is the area of most concern.
Yeah, that's right, Ali. Good morning to you. This was a 20-year-old student who came from Melbourne to the Sunshine Coast prior to Melbourne locking down. She then received a text message from Victorian contact tracers to say she may have been exposed to COVID-19. She did the right thing. She went out and got a test. She tested negative, but then went back out into the community. And I can tell you, authorities are looking into that this morning. She visited a number of locations, including of greatest concern, the Rice Boy restaurant at Mooloolaba. She then travelled home to far north Queensland, where she developed symptoms and then tested positive. She and another COVID-positive patient, a returned traveller, are in Cairns. They've both been flown here to the Royal Brisbane Hospital in the past 12 hours. I'm told they're both in stable conditions this morning here at the COVID ward alley, but Queenslanders are being urged to jump on the Queensland Health website to check whether they've been to any of these new exposure sites, particularly across the Sunshine Coast, alley.
Okay, thanks, Reese.
Okay, now take a look at this. That's the countdown you're seeing in the bottom of your screen to when we'll find out whether Brisbane will become the host city of the 2032 Olympic Games, with a decision to be announced tonight around about 6:30, I hear. We have reporters overseas and at home. First to Christina Hearn in Tokyo. Chris, good morning. The odds are pretty good, aren't they?
I would certainly back the Brisbane horse, Alex. No one else is really in the race after Brisbane was named the preferred host city. But this is how things are going to work today. Team Brisbane, headed by Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk, will make their final presentation to the IOC late this afternoon. Then at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, that is when we will get those famous words from the IOC president, and the winner is, with Brisbane expected to be the word straight after. But the IOC last night said, Australia, don't count your chickens just yet.
Brisbane has
worked for this and has worked very hard for this. They're the preferred candidate. This isn't a done deal because it's still up to the session to decide.
COVID, unfortunately, continues to overshadow these games, with organisers not ruling out cancelling them at the last minute if cases spiral. However, they do kick off today, 2 days ahead of the opening ceremony. Our softballers are in action against Japan, and then the Matildas take on New Zealand tonight. Alex?
Come on, Aussie. Chris, thank you. Let's go now to Today Queensland reporter Aisling Grukelis in Brisbane's CBD. Aisling, good morning. A very big party is planned there.
Yeah, Alex, celebrations are cooking with gas this morning. Just have a look at this. We have the bacon and eggs on the barbie. It smells delicious. This is in King George Square. It's been called the Breakfast of Champions. It's a free public event to hopefully mark what will be a momentous day for Brisbane. We've even got the green and gold donuts here. They look amazing. Now, if there's anyone who knows how to get to a finish line, it is this man here, Stephen Bradbury. What do you reckon, Steve? Will Brisbane get to the finish line tonight?
Well, we've turned on a little bit of winter here in Brisbane this morning. It's a little fresh, and the competition is a little bit thin on the ground when it comes to other cities in the world. I don't think anywhere else in the world wants to compete against an Australian city for the Olympic Games. We did it so well back in Sydney 2000, and it's a lay-down misère. We've got about 8 more hours to wait until Brizzy 2032 is announced.
Let's do it. You heard it from a gold medalist. We've started the party already. Go Brisbane 2032, Alex.
If he says it, it's true.
Yes.
Wow, boy, that is awesome. Yes. Yeah, fingers, toes, legs, everything crossed. It'll happen for sure. Thank you, Aisling. Now let's get a quick splash of your sport right now. An Electric Storm fullback Ryan Pappenhausen has been named in jersey 17 for Melbourne's clash with the Cowboys, set to return after a 10-week recovery from concussion. Port Adelaide and the Crows have touched down in Melbourne after the South Australian government denied exemptions to train during the statewide lockdown. We feel for those guys. And also Richmond and Geelong. I just looked up where they're playing. We don't know. We know they're playing Sunday, but that'll happen.
Imagine the AFL whiteboard.
Oh, Travis Old, the guy who's in charge of that stuff.
Incredible. It's got the eraser.
Goes out to him. Yeah, it's in pencil and an eraser. No pen, pencil.
Good stuff. Thank you, Alex. Well, in 60 seconds, half of Australia's population in lockdown and a rising number of cases in hospital. A frontline doctor will respond live.
And the aged care industry on alert, why less than 50% of all workers are fully vaccinated.
But first, let's check out the weather with Tim. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Ali. The temperatures on the weather map today say one thing, but what it feels like outside, well, it says another, thanks to a cold front across Australia's southeast. Very gusty winds, also some showers as well. Taking a look at today's map for you, partly cloudy conditions for Cairns, 27 degrees. Windy in Brisbane this morning, as you heard there, mostly fresh, but a mostly sunny day ahead. Sydney, windy as well, partly cloudy in 15, fine for Canberra. Melbourne, a shower or two. Hobart, a possible shower on the way. Adelaide, partly cloudy today, 13 degrees, showers easing in Perth, and fine and sunny for the Alice and also for Darwin. Well, it is cold outside on this Wednesday morning, so why not warm up your brain with a little bit of Tim's trivia? Coming up for you, Ali, just after 7:30. See you soon.
Warming it up right now. Thank you, Tim. Well, the South Australian Premier is the latest to pull the lockdown trigger, joining New South Wales and Victoria in imposing stay-at-home orders. That is 3 states and more than 13 million people. Emergency physician and former AMA Vice President Dr. Stephen Parnas joins us now from Melbourne. Doctor, thanks for your time. How worrying is this rise in the number of people being hospitalised?
Good morning, Ali. It is worrying. This Delta strain is much more infectious than any of the variants or the original coronavirus that we've seen. And inevitably, as we've seen in New South Wales, as the number of cases go up, a proportion of them require admission and some in intensive care.
Well, just look at New South Wales and those numbers. You've got 95 in hospital, 27 now in ICU, and 11 of them on ventilators. One of them is a teenager. It is pretty bleak, isn't it?
It's worrying, and if you're a relative of one of those patients, it's a very scary time. We know that the biggest single risk factor for getting very sick with COVID is age, but that doesn't spare you if you are younger. You could be one of that smaller number who can get seriously ill, and that's the reason why we have to take this so seriously, why we cannot treat it like the flu, and why we've got to push the prevention approach.
Is there any explanation of why we're seeing younger people ending up really sick in hospital?
Well, there's a couple of thoughts here. One is that the new variant might be more aggressive, but the other is that we have, even though we've got an overall low vaccination rate, those proportions are higher in older Australians, and that is definitely providing some protection. So the concern is that those unvaccinated people are the ones most at risk and most likely to get sick.
Is there any other solution other than lockdowns at this stage?
With a 13% adult vaccination rate, the answer is no. We can't live with this virus. It spreads so fast. Public health authorities in at least 3, now 4 states are fighting trench warfare against this. So no, the answer is we have to lock down right now, but in the medium term, the answer is to get the population vaccinated, and we cannot forget our kids. The paediatric population can't go unprotected for.
All right, chat. What I'm going to do?
So you're saying at some stage we will need to vaccinate.
I'm going to stop the stream there.
I think so. I know that there are.
I've got my
efforts to look at that in other parts of the
second
world.
wind.
We need evidence to get the safe and effective evidence that we've got for adults. Is not an easy proposition
studio room, which it probably doesn't need much cleaning up. It just needs a bit of organisation.
Are desperately looking at.
So I'm going to leave it there. Plus, I'm going to have a shower.
Doctor,
Then I'm going to
very
do
strong
more.
language when you say we can't live with this virus. What other options do we have?
I'm going to do more collating so I can go out and do my exercise and then get that done out of the way. I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to do an hour in the morning and then an hour at round about what a time I did it yesterday, because I just need to get it done. It's not really. They say it's essential. Like my boss said, it's essential work, but it's not essential that we get these fucking things delivered because no one can go to the shops anyhow. Alright, so I'll leave it there. We'll play, I know we didn't play much there, but I'll have another game of it later, and then we'll do some streaming or something like that. Find out what Bone Daddy wants to do, because I haven't seen him today. He's been busy with work, so he's doing training for work. So we'll do something anyhow. Alright, we'll keep you informed. Thanks, guys.